Hurricanes tonight taking on Georgia Tech in a pivotal battle in the ACC's Coastal Division. Here's what we mean. Both teams at 2-0 in ACC play. Both teams on a nice winning streak, respectively. Miami's at 4. Georgia Tech's at 3, coming in rebounding after their loss to open the season against Tennessee. Hello, everybody. I'm Mark Jones alongside Rod Gilmore. Quinn Kesnick down in the field joining us in just a bit. Rod coming off a huge win against Florida State. Miami on a nice roll. They're talking about being back.
Yeah, that's the word all week long. Miami's back. You know, they're back. You know, they've never won an ACC championship, never played in that championship game. So to be back, you got to get there. It starts today for them if they want to make that move.
They've won 7 of their last 8 games against Georgia Tech. Mark Richt said that he hasn't had this much fun in coaching in a long time. Second-year head coach of the Hurricanes, trying to lead his team to the ACC Coastal Division title. And a lot happening in the ACC with Clemson's huge loss last night. Georgia Tech deferring to the second half. This is Jeff Thomas on the kick return, and he's chopped down at the 17-yard line. And that's where quarterback Malik Rozier will take over for Miami. First-year starter out of Mobile, Alabama. 6'1", 216 pounds. Undefeated as a starter. And trying to follow in that long line of quarterbacks. And they're a great history in Miami. 2-sport star. And like my partner Rod Gilmore, he could hit the breaking ball a little bit.
Yeah, but he hit it a lot farther. You know, he yanked one out of the park in his very first at bat in college baseball.
Pretty good start. Let's see what kind of start he gets here today. Travis Homer, number 24 there in the backfield. You see on Skycam getting the start for the injured Mark Walton, who had season-ending ankle surgery on Monday. 1st and 10 for Miami. Little run pass option. Rozier under duress and falls under heat from Desmond Branch, number 99. That's going to be a loss on 1st down.
Yeah, surprisingly on the first play, good penetration by Georgia Tech. And Rozier nowhere to go, had no option, and then lost his footing. That field is a little slippery. We were down there before the game.
Loss of 12, Rod, on 1st down. 2nd down and 22 back of the 4. We'll see if Amon Richards is out there today. He was questionable before the game with a hamstring injury. He's one of their top receivers. This is Homer running it into the boundary. A nice gain out near the 15-yard line. So he'll get back 11 yards, setting up 3rd down in about 11 to go. Steph Durham making the stop for Georgia Tech.
You talk about Homer getting his first start. There will be an awful lot of pressure on him to carry the workload. Probably more carries today than he's had all season. 25 coming into the ball game. He'll get close to that.
Yeah, comes in with a pretty healthy average of almost 9 yards per rush. On 3rd and 11, Rozier. He gives the Canes a running option, but not enough room that time. And Georgia Tech defensively has been much improved this year as they get a 3-and-out from Miami on the first series of the game.
Good start for them. Playing a nice soft zone, testing the patience of Rozier. No place for him to go with that ball. And Miami, quickly, as you said, 3-and-out. Did not look like they had much rhythm going that opportunity.
Zach Fiegel's into punt. Brad Stewart back at his own 40-yard line for Georgia Tech. Fiegel's averaging about 39 yards per punt this year. Gets off a high spiral. Great hang time out of bounds at about the 41-yard line. So the Yellowjackets will start off with very good field position here on their first offensive set. 41-yard punt, nothing on the return. Taquan Marshall at quarterback. First-year starter, 5'10", 180 pounds, out of Hamilton, Georgia. Getting the directions from head coach Paul Johnson there on the sidelines. He has seen several position changes and now ends up the starting quarterback.
The guy was a good high school quarterback. Expected to be one here. Got moved to running back, and after injuries and the like, he's back at quarterback, and boy, is he special.
Benson, the lone back in this option attack. And a sack immediately on that midline option. Chad Thomas there, a.k.a. Major 9, joined by Trent Harris.
Yeah, this is a very aggressive Miami defense. They don't believe in sitting back. playing the option. They believe in attacking nonstop.
Second down and 12 coming up. Ball at the 39-yard line. Miami down a couple of guys on defense in the secondary. Talk about that a little bit later. Marshall back to pass and sacked by Harris, his second one of the game.
And that is simply speed winning. Harris at 6'2", 248, quick first step. There he is on the outside, beats the guard, and no place for Marshall to go. I mean, we're just talking quickness there.
Third and long, not the kind of situation that this Georgia Tech offense is built for.
What's going on, man? Everybody's going backwards.
They give it to the dive man, Benson, and a 3 and out for this Miami Hurricane defense on the gain of 3 yards. So the defenses with respective upper hands on the opening series of the ball game. There's a look at Benson, one of their leading rushers, second leading rusher behind the quarterback Taquan Marshall. 4th and 15. And there's Braxton Berrios standing at his own 20-yard line for the Hurricanes. Presley Harvin set to punt for Georgia Tech. Returnable by Berrios. Makes a nice cut. And into Georgia Tech territory at the 45.
Jonesy, it's a low kick, a line drive kick that gives Berrios plenty of time. Look how low this is. Watch all the room he has to make a decision. Easy to make one guy miss. Now he's got a lane. But when you get a kick like that, you've got time to make good decisions, and Berrios did.
And a 34-yard punt return by Berrios. One of the 3 receivers set up to the top of your screen. Had a big week last week in that win against Florida State with a couple of touchdown catches. That time, quarterback Rozier kept it himself, and that's something that they didn't have last year, Rod, with Brad Kaya at quarterback, right?
Yeah.
A running threat now.
Yeah, this guy, Rozier, will run. He is a tough runner, and actually they need him to run a lot more now with Walton out. Their second leading rusher. Rick understands the importance of having his quarterback make some plays with his feet.
Second down and 8. Mark Richt calling the plays on offense for the Hurricanes. Homer into the boundary, showing a nice burst to pick up another Miami first down at the 20-yard line. A missed tackle on the play by Victor Alexander, a 12-yard gain.
Yeah, really good speed getting to the edge. You see them pull both guards. Linebackers are caught inside. Mitchell can't get there, but that's a good job of getting to the edge quickly with those inside interior linemen.
Miami finding a little bit of rhythm here on this second offensive possession after that quick 3 and out opening game. On the reverse, this is Thomas, and good close by Georgia Tech defensively.
And not falling for that one. No, not with Austin out there.
Yeah, Lawrence Austin, one of the leaders in the secondary, one of the Austin brothers back there.
Yeah, he is a very smart player, incredibly disciplined, hard to fool him. He felt that reverse coming all the way and was in perfect position.
Jeff Thomas saw a lot of action in practice, got a lot of reps for Miami, number 4 in place of Amon Richards. Second down and 5. Into the end zone, the fade, incomplete.
Anything my brother does, I can do better.
That was Lance Austin defending Mike Harley.
This is really well played. Single coverage. He knows that jump balls will be big today. He gets out there and he's completely on Harley and just out jumps him to make this play. That's a tremendous one-on-one play.
Brings up an interesting third down and about 5 to go for Miami from the 16-yard line. There's a look at the Austin brothers. Remember, it was Lance that had that fumble recovery off the block field goal against Florida State a couple of years ago for that memorable touchdown in the victory. Different situation today. 3rd and 5 for Miami. Into the end zone again. Incomplete again. Lance Austin defending well for Georgia Tech. Intended for Deontay Mullins, number 84.
Yeah, they go right back at Austin again, but he's up to the challenge. Nothing fancy here, one-on-one, and he gets up. He's in perfect position. Another heck of a play in the end zone. That is some serious one-on-one coverage by Austin.
Looked like Mullins actually got his hands on it. Meanwhile, Michael Badgley in to attempt this field goal. He's 5 of 6 on the season. This one coming from 34 yards out. And he knocks it through. Hurricanes up 3-0. After a slow start last week against Florida State, they get on the board first here in Miami Gardens. From hot and humid Miami Gardens, Florida, you're watching the ACC on ESPN from Hard Rock Stadium. Miami Hurricanes taking a lead on a 33-yard field goal a moment ago. And they lead it 3-0 on the board first this week as opposed to last. From the 7-yard line, this is Cottrell. And he is met short of the 25-yard line by a host of Miami tacklers. Toss into the boundary and a good gain here for Georgia Tech. Their best of the game so far. Quay Searcy with a 7-yard pickup.
Well, you saw that Georgia Tech reacted to that first series. Miami attacking everything inside, and Georgia Tech decides this time, you know what? We're not going to fight that. We'll just go outside. We'll just toss it and get out there quickly. You see that Miami walks up their linebackers inside. They're being very aggressive inside to try and take away that dive of the option play.
7.5 minutes to go in the first quarter. The toss to the other side. This is Clinton Lynch, and he picks up the first down. So, Rod, already we've seen what? The midline option and the toss sweep, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, you know, they don't always run the option, but when they do, they run it pretty well. But, you know, 20-25% of the time is option football. But a toss is just a toss sweep. There's nobody unblocked. When you talk about option football, you're talking about the guys, 1 or 2 guys they don't block, so that they get better numbers for the guys they want to block.
Saw Paul Johnson. He calls the plays for Georgia Tech. There's another toss. Lynch with a good gain, and he gashes Miami. Lynch on the loose. Finally tackled at the 17-yard line. That's what happens sometimes. They go combustible and break a long one. Stewart with a nice block on the edge.
Well, you're so concerned inside. Watch the Miami linebackers. They get cut off. Both linebackers are cut off. They can't go from inside to outside to make a play. And the result is a 48-yard run.
First and 10 from the 17. They toss it into the boundary. This is Searcy. And a gain of about 6 on the play. Michael Pickney making the tackle, Quint.
Mark, Miami, as you mentioned, they're playing with 2 new members of the secondary, and that's showing up in some of their alley outside run fits. Ricky June just made a devastating block on that Lynch long run with Delaney and Shedrick Redwine out for Miami. I think that's what Paul Johnson is trying to attack right now. More the secondary than the interior of this D-line.
Yeah, Q. Miami's so committed inside. Johnson's reacting to get to the edge.
They give it to the first man through, and close to another first down. That's Kervonte Benson. He run for 476 yards coming to the ball game today. The second leading rusher behind the quarterback, Taquan Marshall. And it's 1st and goal for Georgia Tech.
Right now, Johnson has Miami a little bit off balance. Going to the edge, Benson, you see his numbers, 5.6-yard average. But they go to the edge and comes back with Benson inside. He's got him guessing right now.
1st and goal. Marshall kept it himself, and he's tackled immediately by Kendrick Norton. It'll be 2nd and goal. Manny Diaz telling us that Norton and McIntosh were going to be huge for them up front today, along with linebackers Quarterman and Pickney.
Well, Norton he's a load inside. He's a guy that can handle that dive. He can disengage from the center and make a tackle by himself. If he's disruptive, Georgia Tech will struggle inside.
Second and goal. Marshall on the toss. Searcy. Touchdown, Georgia Tech. Lynch. And Green actually with the score.
Jonesy, triple option. They take the dive, they take the quarterback. Great decision by Marshall at the end to get it to Green, and then Green just fights to get inside the pylon. That is your classic triple option on the goal line.
And Georgia Tech taking a 7-3 lead, trying to snap a 7-game losing streak against Miami. Back after this. And welcome back, everyone, to Hard Rock Stadium, Miami Gardens, Florida. It has been a very exciting week here in South Florida, with the Hurricanes at 4-0, taking on Georgia Tech. Both teams undefeated, 2-0 in conference play. Mark Jones, Rod Gilmore, Quint Kesnick down on the field joining us in just a bit. Rod, Miami hasn't lost going back to last year in 9 straight games. A lot of talk after Florida State being defeated by Miami last week that they're back.
Yeah, a lot of pats on the back.
Oh, yeah.
Beware the pat on the back. It might hold you back. And, you know, Georgia Tech has heard all the talk, too. Miami thinking it's their thing to roll with. Georgia Tech's like, we've not beaten these guys in a long time. They're motivated as well.
And they've come out and taken a 7-3 lead. First down and 10 from the 25. Rozier, the first-year starter, hands it on to the backup tailback, Gray, with his first carry of the ball game. Walton had season-ending surgery on Monday, making Travis Homer the #1 tailback. Second and 9. Lake Rozier with that huge comeback. Big drive at the end of the game last week, and he took a couple of hits last week against Florida State. Mitchell with the tackle that time on Rozier.
What a week for Rozier. I mean, beating Florida State, and all of a sudden you are in Miami lore. Your 6th start, and everybody's texting you, calling you, telling you how great you are. You're the second coming, and you're trying to focus on Georgia Tech.
Got to stop from getting high on your own vapors, and it's tough to do when people are patting you on the back, like you said. 3rd down and 6. Taking a shot, and incomplete. Intended for Lawrence Cager, the long and lanky receiver, 6'5", working against the 5'11" Step Durham, and another 3 and out for Georgia Tech's defense.
Well, Rozier is a bit of a streaky passer anyway. You know, he started hot against Duke. He was a little shaky when he started last week against Florida State, but he doesn't care. That doesn't bother him. He can have 4 or 5 bad throws in a row and just bounce back from it.
The Eagles going to try it again here. Stewart back at the 27. And nowhere to go, held up short of the 30 at the 29. Good coverage by the Hurricanes. Rozier going to wait this one out. Hope for the defense to do its thing when we come back. Georgia Tech with the football, leading 7-3. They come into the game 3-1 overall, 2-0 in ACC Coastal Division play. They lost their opener against Tennessee, and that guy right there, the starting quarterback, Taquan Marshall, was spectacular, albeit in defeat against the Vols. He hands it off this time. On the pitch to Cottrell, still on the loose, and another big gain for Georgia Tech. Jaquan Johnson making the tackle.
Well, they opened up the game, Georgia Tech did, doing a tremendous job trying to run inside. Miami took all that away, and Paul Johnson has almost exclusively attacked them on the edge since then. They've done a good job of cutting off the linebackers, not allowing them to get out there and get to the quarterback or get to the pitch. And right now, the perimeter run game is really hurting Miami.
Yeah, they look like they've really deciphered something in Miami's defense. Handoff is to Benson. Broke a couple of tackles. Determined running by Benson all the way down to the 31.
Well, you know, Paul Johnson has an itch he's just scratching right now. I mean, he knows that Miami wants to be aggressive and they want to stop the dive, and he's getting to the edge. And those inside linebackers who really need to play well, Quarterman 55 and Pinckney 56, are getting caught up in traffic and getting cut off.
And you say the word cut. Cut block's a big part of today's game. 15-yard gain. Another first down and another toss to the wide side of the field. That time slowed up and stopped. Searcy with nowhere to go.
You know, you talked about Marshall and his winning the quarterback job. You know, he was a big-time star in a very small town.
And this Georgia Tech offense has gashed this Hurricane defense on several occasions. Marshall on the late toss. Searcy got a lane. And another good gain for that offense. 14-yard pickup by Searcy.
Jonesy, just watch the guys inside. They're just cutting off those linebackers. See how slow and far behind they are because those linemen are getting out and cutting them.
Manny Diaz telling us earlier this week that this is a different type of animal when you play option football or against it. They give it to the first man, the dive man. That's Benson. And Benson with another first down for Georgia Tech with under a minute to go here in the first quarter.
We were just talking about that, right? Yep. Johnson is like a pitcher postseason on the mound. He doesn't have a play card. He feels the game. He's looking out there and he's like, you know what? I feel them leaning. I feel them crashing inside. You know, they're trying to get outside now. We're going to come back inside.
So you're
We're
saying
going to dive on him now.
He's not a big analytics guy. He's going by feel.
He
here,
feels it. He sees it. He feels it. He just has a knack for it.
First and goal. First man through, Benson with nowhere to go. They stuck the run. And that's going to be the end of the first quarter of play with Georgia Tech threatening deep in Miami territory with a 7-3 lead. Hurricane scored first on a 33-yard field goal, but the Georgia Tech Yellowjackets answering and threatening again. College football continues after this message and a word from our ABC stations. And what a week it has begun as, Rod Gilmore. Number 2, Clemson. Number 8, Washington State. Both being surprised and upset yesterday. An opportunity for the Hurricanes.
We've got something brewing right here. Georgia Tech dominated that first quarter, and they're threatening right now. 16 runs in the first quarter, and they didn't have to think about throwing it.
Piling up the yards on second and goal here for Taquan Marshall at quarterback. Toss into the boundary. Green stopped up short of the end zone. It's going to be 3rd and goal for Georgia Tech. Remember, they've had some place kicking issues with Sean Davis, so you wonder if maybe if they're this deep, Rod, do they go for it on a 4th down? 3rd and goal. Marshall going to pass. Wide open, room service, touchdown, J.J. Green. Pinckney had him in his grasp. He had Marshall in his grasp, Rod, but couldn't bring him down. And what a throw by Taquan Marshall.
Poise, Jonesy. We talked about the poise that Marshall has. Remember, in his very first start against Tennessee, he went for 249 yards rushing. Got into the end zone 5-6 times. First game, national television, was not bothered by it. You saw the poise on that play. Distress all around him, kept his composure, and delivered the football.
Yeah, Paul Johnson says that he has not shrunk from the spotlight and the big moment. Hey, Rod, he must have heard us talk about the fact that they haven't thrown the ball yet.
Hey, and when he throws it, he's not looking for first downs. He wants touchdowns, and he had Green all by himself.
He made the first pass count. Georgia Tech with a 14-3 lead. Hurricanes, number 11, under duress here. Jeff Thomas on the kickoff return. Hurricanes looking for a play. Rozier completes his first pass. Barrios, the ACC's receiver of the week, gets the first down, brought down by Victor Alexander. As I mentioned, the first completion by Malik Rozier. Talked about him getting a lot of congratulatory texts in wake of that Florida State victory. Heard from Ja'Cory Harris, former quarterback, and a lot of the greats here at Miami, like Gino Torretta. Rozier on the out, off the mark, had his guy open, Mike Harley.
You know, all of those things that Q was talking about, being forced to stay in the pocket, you know, the notion that you're missing some star receivers, your timing is off because you're on the sideline a little bit. All that stuff impacts throws like that, Q.
Yeah, and the slow start's nothing new. But what I loved about Rozier last week, in Tallahassee, he was taking the field, waving the crowd on. There was a certain swagger. There was a certain poise. I haven't seen that energy from him today.
Rozier, growing up a University of Miami fan, kept it himself and picks up another first down, brought down by Lawrence Austin. 13-yard gain.
Yeah,
for Malik Rozier.
Yeah, just a little zone read and get the defensive end sliding down, and he has a wide open hole there to take, and this is the sort of thing that can get him going. He is a tough guy. He's not going to be flustered by a couple bad throws.
Homer got to the edge, still on his feet. And Homer down to the 20-yard line. First down, Miami. A.J. Gray making the tackle for Georgia Tech.
Yeah, freshman receiver Jeff Thomas with a great block in that second level, which opened up a huge lane for Homer. You'll see him coming your screen right there. Number 4 blocking 2 guys. And Homer uses it effectively to get to the edge.
Miami up at the line of scrimmage quickly. Rozier keeps it himself and slides safely and wisely at the 20-yard line. Something they didn't have last year. Quarterback with Brad Kaya. They've got a running threat with Malik Rozier. First-year starter. Brad Kaya, a good buddy of his.
Yeah, he's one of the guys who texted Rozier this week and said, hey, got it rolling. You finally knocked off Florida State. Something I couldn't do.
Trayon Gray in the backfield. 2nd and 10. Gray hurdles a tackler and brought down just shy of the 15-yard line. Picked up 5 on the play. Jordan Swilling and Alexander making the tackle for Georgia Tech.
You know, I think, and Q might agree with this might be the time and place on the field you would expect Miami to come in with their tall receivers. They've got a couple guys 6'5", Q. They did not use down here last time.
Yeah, Langham now on the field, though. Number 81. This is the 10th play of the drive. Langham is split to the top of your screen. He comes back the other way. Rozier, incomplete. Intended for Mike Harley. Just off the mark.
I'm still surprised that they tried the fade routes with Harley. That's the second time they've done that. There's been good coverage by Austin both times. He's 5'9". Q, they've got a couple 6'5" guys that they could use down here.
Yeah, well, obviously, Amon Richards is probably not going to be playing today. The other guy, Lawrence Cager, was actually having his knee brace taken off and then put back on. So he wasn't active in that series.
Yeah, Q, there's Richards on the sideline. Re-injured his hamstring last week in Tallahassee. This is Badgley in for another field goal attempt. Made one earlier from 33. This one from 32. The line drive is good, and Miami now trails by 8, 14-6. Trying to keep that football away from Georgia Tech, though. They have the lead when we return. Miami down 14-6. Cotwell on the return. Fumbled it. Ball came loose. And Georgia Tech recovered it. Number 80, Jalen Camp, was there to pounce on it for Georgia Tech. On the toss, Green. He was lucky to catch that. Miami leads the ACC in turnovers, but unable to force one here so far today. Marshall keeps it and is brought down almost immediately by Charles Perry. Gain of 2 sets up a long third down coming up for Georgia Tech. Clinton Lynch going to come into the ball game for the Yellowjackets. Tell you, this option offense is a real equalizer. It's different.
Yeah.
We don't see a lot of this, right?
No. And this is really the key. You get them into a 3rd and long here, you should feel pretty good about your chances, and you should be assuming that Marshall's going to try to get to the edge. That or rolling and throwing it.
Marshall on the toss, and they come up short. Cottrell got stopped on the gain of 3, so the Hurricane defense coming up huge. That's Michael Pinckney, number 56.
Well, Hurricanes dominated that inside. They clogged up everything quickly, got penetration, and forced Marshall to pitch it faster, sooner than he wanted.
Those linebackers for Miami, Quarterman, Pinckney, McLeod, they played a lot as freshmen, and they are really the heart of that defense. Here's Berrios, who had the big week last week in Tallahassee. A rugby-style punt, a high spiral, and Berrios makes the catch all the way back at the 11-yard line. 89 yards away after the 47-yard punt. 1st and 10, Miami, when we come back. Under 2 minutes to go here in the first half. Miami limited to just 6 points so far. And it's been a quiet afternoon so far for their leading receiver, Braxton Berrios, number 8, lining up in the slot to the top of your screen. The handoff is to Homer, who picks up 2. Alexander with the tackle. Well, coming up on the State Farm halftime report, Kevin and Gandhi, Mac Brown, and Booker McFarland in the studio, getting you up to speed. From the 25, 2nd down for Miami.
Jonesy, good battle out there between Berrios and Austin. Lawrence Austin, number 20, and Austin's been winning it so far.
Pass complete over the middle to Herndon, the tight end. Keeping the play alive, and his forward progress is going to be about a yard short of the 1st down, a 7-yard pickup.
Yeah, if they want to move the chains, Berrios has to be involved. And right now, everywhere he goes, he gets shadowed by 20 Austin.
On 3rd and 1, Homer picks up the 1st down for Miami. Miami with 3 timeouts remaining, perhaps trying to get into field goal range and get an attempt out of Michael Badgley.
You know, their clutch guy is Abe Berrios. We keep talking about him. And if they're going to get something done in the last minute here, they got to find a way to free him up.
3 receiver formation. Rozier complete, and there's the guy we've been talking about the last couple of moments. Berrios with the catch. Lawrence Austin defending.
Yeah, he's the guy that can make the clutch catch, get you the 3rd down catch, move the chains for you. You need that now. Now, how does Georgia Tech continue to deal with him? Is it still Lawrence Austin's duty to handle him?
Berrios a 3.95 GPA and entrepreneurship. High snap. Scooped up by Rozier. Pass is caught miraculously at the 49 by Mullins. Wow. 10 yards and a 1st down.
Composure. He hurries, but he does not rush. Is Mullins' feet inside? Yeah.
Rozier just didn't pounce on the ball. He made something out of the play. Incomplete. Missed his man, Langham, who had the game-winning touchdown last week against Florida State. He only played in 2 plays last week.
Yeah.
His second one was for the game winner.
That's a pretty good average.
I'd say.
We talked about Rozier going down in Miami lore. Well, Langham is right there with him.
Performing under the watchful eyes of Hurricane legends here this afternoon. Michael Irvin, Ray Lewis, Gino Torretta, and a bunch of others. And Rozier wide open. Langham with the catch. Still on his feet. And that'll make the legends proud. first down to Miami at the 22 with 29 seconds to go.
He's got to play more. All he does is deliver when he's on the field. Game-winning touchdown catch last week, clutch catch here, and yards after the catch.
Rozier out of the pocket. Complete at the 18-yard line to Herndon, the tight end, with 16 seconds to go, well within field goal range for Badgley.
Well, you've got Langham at 6'4". We know he can leap. He's made plays. We talked about it the last time Miami was down here in the red zone. They used their 5'9" receivers for the fade route and not the 6'4". Q, what do you think of that?
Yeah, you know, Langham's listed at 6'4", 220. That might be on the lower side. He's enormous. And Georgia Tech secondary is not exactly Amazons. They're in the 5'10", maybe one or two guys approaching 6 foot range. So there's a decided height and weight advantage for Langham. This is a guy who toiled in the practice squad in 2015 and 16. 4 career catches coming into this game today, but he'll go down in Miami lore for the game winner last week, and they'll put him here to the short side of the field where he's likely to attract man-to-man coverage, Rod.
Q, what about energy? We talked this week. We thought Miami might be ripe for an upset just because of all the pats on the back. You feel that down there?
I still do sense that, but I think this team in their minds knows what they can accomplish in the second half.
2nd and 5. Rozier coming back to the short side. Complete. Homer. Touchdown, Canes.
Shades of the man he replaced, Walton, catching the ball out of the backfield. Watch the effort at the end. The right hand, extend the ball. Left hand extended over the pylon.
Yeah, he hit it.
Yeah. I mean, that presence of mind, look at this. Reaches it out to make sure he gets it inside the pylon. You're talking about a guy who has not had a lot of catches this year, has not had a lot of reps, but is showing you he is all football player.
Yeah, first career touchdown. And obviously the first of the season for Travis Homer. Hey, this drive started with 1:59 left on the clock. 9 plays, 77 yards. Miami looking for its 5th win of the season, looking to remain undefeated. They trail by 1. Georgia Tech will receive the kick in the second half. The State Farm Halftime Report is coming up after this message, folks, and a word from our ABC station. Miami trailing Georgia Tech by 1 as we get ready to start the 3rd quarter of play. Hurricanes got off to a shaky start, Rod Gilmore. They were gashed defensively a couple of times, but a late offensive surge to end the first half, and they're right back in the ballgame.
Yeah, you get the sense that Miami is starting to get a little comfortable. You saw Rozier, find the range, throwing the football a little bit. You saw that
onside kick. Sorry, Rod, did not go far enough, and Georgia Tech is going to scoop it up. Miraculously, incredibly, Georgia Tech on the blown onside kick scores a touchdown. Lamont Simmons. Wow. They tried to catch Georgia Tech napping and got stung.
Sometimes you roll the dice, you think you have an advantage, and you don't. This ball is up high, easily handled, doesn't go far enough. They were waiting for it, but because you're waiting and standing around, Simmons alertly just picks it up and runs with it.
And the crowd here at Hard Rock Stadium in stunned silence to start the 3rd quarter. You talk about gift wrapping a touchdown for the opposition. It doesn't get any worse than that.
Jonesy, the execution, horrible all the way around for Miami. First of all, you punch it up in the air, it doesn't go 10 yards, and then everyone is trying to stand around and wait for it to go 10 yards, and it's not going to move, and Simmons alertly recognizes he's got a clear field. That is as strange an onside kick as I think I've ever seen, where you've got guys with no sense of urgency standing around, not alert to the fact that Georgia Tech can pick it up and run with it.
And Lamont Simmons, number 6 there, it said, hey, you know what? I'll take this. I got somewhere to go.
A gift? You had momentum. You went in the end zone. You were starting to settle down. Why even take the chance?
Kickoff is short at the 9-yard line for Jeff Thomas. Thomas still on his feet. Thomas taken out of bounds near midfield at the 47. A good run back by Thomas on the kickoff. Let's take a look at our Pacific Life game summary. Some of the cogent points so far in the first half.
Georgia Tech, 172 yards on the ground, and strangely enough, not much out of Marshall on this. They did get a touchdown from Green early in the ball game. They did a great job getting to the edge most of that first half, and then Rozier came to life in that second quarter, finished that last drive 6 of 7 with a touchdown pass to Homer. And again, that's what we're talking about. You end the first half on a positive note with momentum, and then you roll the dice with the onside kick, and it bites you.
Rozier, who was on a roll to end the first half, at the helm here, 1st and 10 from the 47. Keeps it himself and slides down for a gain of about 3 on the play. Let's go to Q.
It's about throwing and catching. The words of Mark Richt, who called Malik Rozier jittery. But he also said that that's been status quo in terms of some poor first half performances this year. He expects Malik to calm down and just do his job. That's what he's looking for here now in this third quarter.
Yeah, Q, we've seen him calm down. We've also seen him effective when he runs the ball. And I think we'll get more of that.
Little bubble screen complete to Langham. Langham trying to get to the edge, close to the first down before he's pushed out of bounds. And there's the long and speedy, lanky receiver we were talking about a little bit earlier. Had the game-winning catch last week against Florida State. Picks up 11 there. And a first down for the Hurricanes at Georgia Tech's 40-yard line.
I think they discovered in the second quarter that they can use Homer more. Not just running, but throwing to him out of the backfield.
Homer had his first receiving touchdown of the season. And that pass incomplete to Berrios. You won't see that happen very often. That's a clip and save if you want one.
You know, just a little bit off. You don't find Berrios dropping passes like that. With Jonesy, we talked about all the pats on the back. Remember the old song, be aware of the pat on the back. It holds you back.
Yeah, it might be the case here a little bit here for Miami. Slow start once again. Homer on the sweep. Cuts it upfield, but stopped at the 37. Sets up a third and about 7 to go.
Yeah, all week long the talk was the U is back. You know, what a great win over Florida State. What a great quarterback we have. Chance to get into the top 10. All that noise. And, you know, Rick said he tried to get his guys to focus on the nuts and bolts of defending an option attack in a physical game. And all the while, Georgia Tech was like, we gave you one last year. We are looking to get this one today.
And both of these teams coming in undefeated in ACC Coastal Division play. Rozier under duress and sacked back near midfield at the 50-yard line by Antonio Simmons.
Yeah, Simmons came on a bit of a cross. He started out on the right side, and you'll see him, you know, loop into the middle of your screen from the right side to the left, right up the middle, unblocked. A nice little stunt that they ran to free him up.
That's the 4th sack of the season for Simmons. And Miami's going to have to punt from their own 36-yard line. Zach Fiegels, after what started like a very promising drive. Stewart with a fair catch at the 18-yard line. First down and 10 after the 32-yard punt. Back to Miami Gardens after this. Great week here of prep, and good to be home for a Saturday.
Clemson went down. Washington State went down. Miami is trailing right now.
Been that type of week for some of the higher-ranked teams in college football. They give it to the dive man. Why Merskirch picks up 2 on the play.
You know, I still think that for Georgia Tech to be effective, they need Marshall to get going on the ground. He had 8 carries in that first half. No yards for your leading rusher out of the ACC.
2nd and 8. All that, and they still have an 8-point lead. Marshall keeps it. Nice gain for the first down. Coach Johnson with that option attack at Navy brought it to Georgia Tech and having tremendous success with it. They give it to the dive man. Weimerskirch again picks up about 4 on the play, trying to lull you to sleep in that option offense.
You know, this is how you get frustrated. You know, you give up a cheap score, and then if Georgia Tech comes back with one of those long 5-minute methodical drives, wears you down, and they get another score, it just starts to wear you out.
On the toss, this is J.J. Green, and Green picks up another Yellowjackets first down. J.J. Green is having a heck of a day here today. Has 2 touchdowns, 1 rushing, 1 receiving.
You know, well, Miami has gone all in on stopping the dive and stopping Marshall from running. And Johnson has said, thank you very much. We will run our guys to the edge and take advantage of it.
Toss again, and this time the Canes able to run it down outside. Cottrell chopped down on the corner by number 28, Michael Jackson. Jackson got the start on the corner in place of D. Delaney, one of those injured DBs for Miami.
Well, Delaney is one of those guys that has years of experience playing the option, you know, coming over from the Citadel, and he's out. And then you have Redwine out. You have guys who know how to play this, and you've seen some big runs today because of poor angles by guys in the secondary.
2nd and 13. Marshall back to pass, taking a shot, has a man wide open, complete at the 18-yard line. Knowles got beaten by Ricky June. When they get you, they get you big.
When Marshall is throwing, he's not throwing for a first down. He wants the home run, and there is nothing silly about this when you got a job, right? It's the option. It's lulling you to sleep. You know June is going to run deep. You got to get back. You just got to get back. That's Knowles, who was looking into the backfield and allowed June to get behind him.
10th play of the drive. Toss outside to Lynch. And run down as the Hurricanes string it out. That was Malik Young. And now that's the way that you talk about them wanting to play, right?
Yeah, you get that ball out quickly right now, and you just treat it as a sweep. And when you can do that and avoid being blocked inside, you just run it down. And they've got the speed to run it down.
Saw some of the greats from Miami history at halftime. One of the Blades brothers here being inducted into the Ring of Honor. So much history with this program, but right now they trail. Battle of 2 unbeatens in ACC play. Marshall looking to pass and sacked. Back at the 17-yard line. Zach McLeod there. And that is a huge play for Miami.
Yeah, McLeod came from the backside. Marshall never saw him. Marshall had a chance to let it fly and get it out of the way, but when he turned around, whoops, there was McLeod.
And Rod, you talked about the fact that with respect to place kicking, they've got some issues. So now it's not goal to go from so close anymore. They're all the way back at the 14. Marshall under heat into the end zone, and June running out of real estate, defended by Young. So 4th and goal. And if you're wondering about Sean Davis, their place kicker, that's not a good thing if you're looking to see a positive sign.
Ouch.
Ice on his knee. That's his left knee. Quint, what's up?
Yeah, Brenton King will take this field goal. Freshman walk-on, right-footed kicker, as Sean Davis hurt his left knee on that last kickoff for Georgia Tech. First college kick here, Jonesy.
There he is. King. Hey, no problem, Q. He drills it to give Georgia Tech an 11-point lead. Answering the call. Looking like a king. Look at some of the guys that gave rise to what we now call swag. The University of Miami football program pretty much invented swag. And you saw Michael Irvin, Ray Lewis, Warren Sapp. There's some of the very luminous class inducted into the Ring of Honor at the University of Miami. Class of 2017. This year's version of the Canes down, though, by 11, 24-13. Thomas on the return, looking for an alley and brought down at the 25. All right, Cassidy, well, Miami down 11. That's the most that they've trailed this season.
Well, Jonesy, also the anxiety mounts because that was over a 6-minute drive for Georgia Tech. How many more possessions will you get if you're Miami?
They really shortened the game on you. The bubble screen complete for Braxton Berrios, who has been a non-factor here today, Rod.
Yeah, and that's a problem. They need him to be involved. But Jonesy, just anxiety that comes up. You're down 2 possessions. You're not going to get a whole lot more. So there is this sense of you must get something now, because the next time Georgia Tech comes out, it might be another 6-minute drive.
Yeah, they'll eat up that clock on you. Berrios 3 catches for a total of 18 yards today. Wide open down the field, caught. Thomas, one guy to beat. Brought down at the 3. First and goal, Miami.
He may be the fastest guy on the offense, making up for the loss of Richards. This is a big play and a big throw. Rozier gives him a chance, lays it out there for him, lets him run it down. And that frustration, that sense of the need to do something now, they felt it.
Rozier answering. Homer with nowhere to go, stopped up at the line of scrimmage. It'll be 2nd and goal. But that big play to Jeff Thomas, who had an outstanding week in practice, was a career-long pass catch.
Well, the beautiful thing about that, it was a well-designed play. They rode Rozier, and he just put it out there and let Thomas run it down.
See if they go to one of those tall receivers here, Rod, in the shadows of the end zone. Rozier lobs it up. Back shoulder fade incomplete for Thomas. And we're looking at 3rd and goal. He was working against Lawrence. That's been a problem.
Yeah, I don't get that. I mean, they've thrown that route in the end zone maybe 4 or 5 times today, and each time to their small receivers, and it hasn't worked. So at some point, don't you change?
Looking at 3rd and goal.
I mean, I'd like to see Langham out there with his 6'4", 5, 6, 7-inch frame that you told us about.
But Harley, Berrios, and Jeff Thomas in as receivers here. Rozier tried to squeeze it in, and it was caught off the deflection by Tyler Gauthier, the offensive lineman, preventing an interception, perhaps.
Yeah.
And 4th goal, in comes the field goal.
Yeah, just run it, Rozier. I mean, nothing's there. He's better off taking off. And trying to force this one in there almost proved disastrous. If I'm Mark Richt, I'm telling him, I like our chances better with you and your feet than that throw.
Yeah, he tried to squeeze it in a tight window to Berrios. Boy, the defender all over. Badgley in to attempt this field goal. He's 2 of 2 today. This one from 21 yards out. Snap down. The kick is good, and feels like a little bit of a win, a big win for Georgia Tech defensively after that huge gain. Back to Miami Gardens after this. Miami taking on Georgia Tech as we take a look at the AP Top 10 for Week 7, brought to you by AT&T. And some upsets up there, Rob.
Yeah, you saw Clemson go down. Saw Washington State go down.
Yeah, there have been a few shakeups coming our way. Petrell is brought down shy of the 20-yard line. 6'7", 380. Marshall keeps it and is tackled at the 33. On 2nd and 7, they give it to the dive man, Weimerskirch, and nowhere to go. First man through picks up a yard on the play. 3rd down coming up, but the question begs, can the Canes get off the field defensively? At what point do they start getting a little gassed, Rod? You think they've gotten there yet?
I think they feel it. They need to get off the field. You can see the heavy breathing right now. They do need to get this third down and get off the field and save possessions for the offense.
Well, they're used to practicing in the heat down here in South Florida. Temperatures reaching almost over 100 degrees with the humidity. Marshall going to take a shot, tipped, and incomplete. The Canes almost with their first turnover. Jaquan Johnson had an opportunity, but couldn't get there. But fourth down coming up.
Well, he had Cersei, but Cersei fell down. And if Cersei doesn't fall down, that is a catch and a first down Georgia Tech football. But he just lost his footing on the soft turf, and now Miami gets the ball back. It looks like they will get the ball back.
Braxton Berrios standing at his own 20-yard line. Presley Harvey, averaging about 45 yards per punt on the season, is third of the day. And the end-over-end punt at the 23. Berrios cut down immediately at the 24-yard line. A 42-yard punt, 2 on the return. With 33 seconds to go, Berrios blowing a tire. Rozier trying to get the job done when we come back. First and 10 for Malik Rozier. Complete over the middle to Langham. He of the game-winning touchdown last week. Working against Step Durham. First and 10, Miami on the 13-yard gain.
Do I dare repeat it? We've been asking to see him all day.
Big target, Rod. 6'5".
Big target, yep. And when he's on the field, he just makes plays.
Berrios, the slot receiver to the bottom of your screen. Rozier looks that way, but instead it's Mullins, and Mullins is going to be about 4 yards short of the first down, and that's the end of the third quarter of play. Georgia Tech leads by 8. Is there another fourth quarter magical comeback by Berrios and the Hurricanes? We'll find out. College football continues after this message and a word from our ABC station. Ominous skies here in South Florida. It's about that time of the day, this time of the year. Starting to rain, but we're just kind of used to it down here. Mark Jones alongside Rod Gilmore. Quinn Kessenich down on the field. A lot at stake. Both teams undefeated in Coastal Division play. The winner of this one has a leg up, Rod.
Yeah, control of the division. And then also remember Miami with a shot to get into the top 10 with the win, considering what's happened this weekend already.
Miami with their 9th possession of the ball game. Rozier picks up the first down and into Georgia Tech territory. All right, it is really coming down hard. First and 10 after that 7-yard pickup. Rozier caught, and there's that man again. Darrell Langham, Rod, with another first down. 16-yard gain, and they move the chains.
Yeah, just a drag route. He comes up with another great catch on a highly thrown ball in the rain. You can throw the ball in the rain, Jonesy.
It got there. Homer on the carry inside the 30, down to the 26-yard line. Antonio Simmons making the tackle, Clint.
Absolutely pouring, as it has here in South Florida all week long at times. This one isolated cloud, and you're looking at a Georgia Tech defense playing without their 2 leading tacklers. Brant Mitchell, middle linebacker, has not played in the second half. Lower body. Lawrence Austin, the nickel, number 20, taken to the locker room. Looked like cramps.
Missing some guys. A gaping hole. Homer. Home run Canes. With his 4th rushing touchdown of the season after earlier picking up his first receiving touchdown of the season.
Well, Q mentioned Mitchell and Austin being out, and they ran and blocked right where those guys would have been. And now, yeah, fourth quarter, you can go for 2. This is a good decision here. Down 2. Taking your shot now.
And the driving rain. Rozier over the middle. Incomplete, intended for the tight end. Herndon, deflected by A.J. Gray. So the Canes remain 2 points back as we get started in the fourth.
You wonder what would happen with Walton out, and Homer has delivered another big play. But the two-point conversion, little rain, little high throw, little defensive play by Gray. Tech still up by 2.
Georgia Tech leads Miami 24-22 in the fourth quarter as we continue our coverage of the Dr. Pepper Championship Drive game of the week. And what a finish we're set up for here in Miami Gardens, Florida. Mark Jones, Rod Gilmore, Quint Kesselnick down to the field, and the block is hot. Petrell on the return for Georgia Tech. Still on his feet. And makes his way out to the 40. And it's going to be 1st and 10 for the Yellowjackets.
Well, Jonesy, their offense in the second half has been non-existent. Marshall hasn't been able to run it. Benson has been out. Third leading rusher in the ACC. So your two primary rushers have not done much. 88 yards in the second half. Where does the offense come from?
Trying to close this out. Marshall keeps it himself, falling forward for about 3 yards. McIntosh making the stop on the play. Miami with 3 timeouts remaining.
Georgia Tech can't afford negative plays. They can't fall behind the chains. They need 2nd and 6. They need 3rd and 2. At 2nd and 10, we saw on the last drive, or 2nd and 17 was a problem. This is a really big 2nd down for this offense.
Marshall, toss. Boy, that thing was in the air a long time for Searcy. Wow, a dangerous toss, Rod Gilmore, that made it to its target.
It almost looked like Johnson, the safety, his eyes got big, like, that ball's coming to me. He's sitting right there, right outside, wow. And that ball goes to Searcy. But Johnson was sitting there looking like that ball was coming to him.
The leading team in the ACC causing turnovers, Miami, has not caused one today. Yellowjackets just 3 of 11 on 3rd down conversions. Marshall into the boundary, lunges and gets the 1st down. A clutch play by Marshall, who went airborne over Michael Jackson. He was the real thriller on that play.
Are you kidding me? This presence of mind, recognizing situation and where the ball is, making sure that he gets into the 1st down zone with bad footing out there, Q.
Yeah, and I think Coach Johnson had that one in his back pocket for a clutch situation, because I'm not sure we've seen that play so far. A little misdirection counter by the QB.
The good coaches always save something for the 4th quarter on offense and defense.
1st and 10. Marshall sacked back at the 47-yard line by R.J. McIntosh, but under 4 minutes now remaining in the ball game. The clock working against the Canes right here.
Well, Manny Diaz being aggressive on 1st down, trying to make sure he creates 2nd and long for Georgia Tech. Excellent call there. Now he has his offense where he wants them to be. You think in terms of, well, they don't want to throw it. You know that there's still option, but they don't want to pitch it that much because of the weather. You're thinking safe things, quarterback keeping the ball, running it to the edge with a minimum of pitches.
Manny Diaz, Miami native, back home as their defensive coordinator, looking for his unit to get a big play here. Marshall going to tuck it under and come up short at the 41-yard line. 3rd down and about 7 to go. Well, earlier today, the National Championship Trophy presented by Dr. Pepper here at Hard Rock Stadium. Fans getting a chance to get some pics with it.
We are a long way from deciding who's going to get that bad boy, but we know this. It's wide open, and Miami with a shot, if they can come back here tonight, a shot to get into the top 10.
Well, they got 5 of those trophies here. Looking for number 6. On 3rd and 8, Marshall. Over the middle. Incomplete. At the 29-yard line, Jackson broke it up. Took it out of the arms, and he hit Brad Stewart.
Well, Stewart had this, but Jackson would not quit. It's all right to get beat, but you keep competing. Watch him hang in here. He hangs in, and he gets the ball out. That is a first down catch. It should have been by Stewart, but Jackson stayed in there, kept fighting, and got the ball out. That is a tremendous, tremendous job.
And number 27 right there, Harvin, the punter, has done a great job today, averaging 48 yards a punt. He has come up big for Georgia Tech various times, and now again, Rod, pinning them inside the 10-yard line at the 8. 92 yards to go. Berrios, Rozier, the Hurricanes looking for one last gasp effort here. And remember, they missed a 2-point conversion attempt earlier, Rod.
Yeah, two critical plays stand out for me in this ball game. After Homer's touchdown, an opportunity here, but Gray knocks away the 2-point conversion, which keeps Georgia Tech ahead by 2. And remember, as great as Miami has played in the second half, particularly on defense, the other big play, the onside kick that became a touchdown for Georgia Tech.
As easy a touchdown as they'll get all year.
It was a gift. You take away the gift, Miami's ahead in this ball game.
Now they might just have to get into Michael Badgley's field goal range. He has a long of 50. Remember, though, in the last 2 drives last week, Malik Rozier did what he had to do. He got the ball into the end zone. Can he do it again? That pass low and incomplete at the 22, intended for Langham. It'll be second down and 10 with 2:24 to go.
Clutch time. Clutch receivers. Langham has shown he can make big plays. Berrios has been rather quiet today, but he is still your most reliable receiver out there.
Second and 10. Berrios in the slot to the bottom of your screen. Langham wide to the top. Berrios on the bubble screen, got a block on the edge. First down out to the 22-yard line. Braxton Berrios Mullins, the receiver, with a good block, and Berrios trying to shake out the cobwebs on the 14-yard gain. Clock running with 2:12 to go. No time to waste for Miami. Another bubble screen. Berrios again. Lunging for the first down. Where are they going to spot it? Out of bounds, about a yard shy. Lance Austin with a nice tackle on the edge.
Nothing fancy. Just get the ball to a clutch guy. Let him get you in rhythm. Get a few yards for you. Get you out of the shadow of your own goalpost.
First place in the Coastal Division on the line here. 2nd and 1. Homer picks up the first down at the 34-yard line. Miami with 3 timeouts remaining.
And plenty of time. And also, Jonesy, you only need 3. You don't necessarily need the touchdown.
They got to get to about the 33-yard line. Berrios, tough footing on the outside, cuts it up to the 37. Austin with another tackle. And his hat comes off, so he's got to come out for a play.
Yeah, Georgia Tech has been playing off, giving that bubble screen there, and Rozier has been content to take it.
Second and 6. Another screen to the tight end, Herndon. And Herndon makes it out towards the 44-yard line. Remember, Badgley has a career long of 57 yards for Miami. This year he's kicked one from 50 already.
He's got a big leg, not the best conditions out there.
1:33 to go. Does Miami have another miracle finish in them? Herndon again. Giving him some yards after the catch. Out to the 44-yard line, Quint, and a first down.
Yeah, and the Canes are working the sideline to perfection. Stop the clock. The added bonus, you get a dry football from the ball boys on the sideline.
Yeah, Q, and they're trying to force Georgia Tech to tackle late in the ball game, tired and beat up.
Herndon again. Keeps those legs moving. Down to the 35, and they're right now in field goal range for Michael Badgley.
That's a 250-pound tight end that you have to tackle. He dragged some people. This has been a beautiful drive called by Mark Richt, who's back to calling plays.
He's wanted to get more involved, not just be the CEO. He's having fun, and it's a lot more fun when you win football games. 4-0 coming to this one today. 2nd and 1 coming up at the 34-yard line. In field goal range of Michael Badgley. Berrios got it. Got a great block. First down inside the 30 at the 28. Mullins. Those receivers block well, don't they, Rob?
Yeah, you know, I'm surprised we haven't seen an adjustment from Georgia Tech.
Illegal block below the waist. Offense. 15 Yulty. Repeat 2nd down.
So in the irony of all the cut blocks we talk about, Miami gets called for one.
Yeah.
Huh?
I think they got Mullins. Yeah, I think they got one of the receivers, Mullins, out there. But going back to Georgia Tech, I'm surprised that they haven't moved Austin up closer to Barrios.
Why is that?
Well, he's 7-8 yards off, and they've had 4 bubble screens right in front of him, you know, to get a block and get yardage. At some point, you move your nickel back up, and you take away that throw by alignment. And they haven't done that.
So this pushes the ball all the way back to the 44, it looks like they're going to mark it. And no longer in field goal range.
Yeah, here's the lineup I've been talking about. You see where Austin is? And now he's moved up. But for so many plays on this drive, he's been 7-8 yards deep. Now he's at about 3 or 4 yards.
Rozier. Underneath, little contact. And no flag. Lamont Simmons right there, number 6, who had that touchdown off the onside kick earlier.
Yeah, it's a good play. Watch him get that right hand around, knocks it down. It's a good play.
3rd down coming up. And still not in field goal range. Homer with nowhere to go. Georgia Tech's defense coming up huge there. And it sets up 4th down with 41 seconds to go. Miami has to call a timeout.
Timeout of the half. 30-second timeout.
And boy, that penalty, Rod, really changed the complexion of things for Miami with the run that they had no success with. And now they're looking at 4th down and not in field goal range.
Well, you talk this one over and you have to figure out, is there any way, you ask your kicker, can you make this? And if not, you have no choice. You have to go for this on 4th down to give yourself a chance. And right now, you look at where that ball is spotted.
43 would be a 60-yard field goal.
A 60-yard field goal on a wet field, you know, little wind, doesn't seem to make a whole lot of sense. So you come up with your best 4th down play right now.
Yeah, his career long is 57 yards, and it was against Georgia Tech in 2015.
Well, it seems to me that your best option is probably Langham, the hero from last week. Give him a chance to go up and make a catch and get you a 1st down.
Berrios, the inside receiver, to the bottom of your screen.
I think your play is up there.
That's where they look. Taking a shot. Caught by Langham! Another magic miracle by Miami! And in field goal range.
Well, that's the matchup. That's the one they needed. They should have been looking to. Now you have a shot.
And they spike it, stopping the clock. He only played 2 plays last week, and had the game-winning touchdown, and he comes up huge again here, Rod.
Yeah, they play press man with him, safety over the top, doesn't get there. Gray's got to lean. You got to know that's the matchup that they need on that 4th down, and what a tremendous effort and concentration by that guy.
That ball was underthrown.
He just makes play after play when he's on the field. He's got to be on the field more for Miami.
6'4", a big target. Rozier out of the shotgun. Homer got a block. Holding on to that football, and he gets another 1st down. The pile moving. 1st and goal, Miami. And they can afford to think touchdown here. First place in the division on the line. 1st and goal, here we go. And he puts it in the middle of the field. Looks like they're playing for the field goal here. He ran it right into the middle of the field for Michael Badgley, the field goal kicker, who with 8 seconds to go, this is pretty much an extra point attempt.
Timeout, Georgia Tech, Miami, the 3rd and final timeout.
Paul Johnson is going to try and put him on ice, though.
He wasn't.
As he calls a timeout. They've got 1 remaining. From 24 yards out. For the win. The Hurricanes take the lead. The only other lead for the Hurricanes was at 3-0. Georgia Tech stunned on the other side of the field.
Good snap. Perfect kick.
Feeling like old times for the Hurricanes. That's a kick that Carlos Huerta would have been proud of.
Clutch. Last minute game-winning performances. Huge performance.
And they kick it off deep with 4 seconds to go. Cottrell. They're going to try and lateral their way into the end zone. An alley there for Ricky June. Still alive. And it's over. The Hurricanes come back. Let's go downstairs to Quinn.
Coach, what was going on in your mind when you got the ball with about 2:30 to go, backed up, down 2?
Yeah, well, we had 3 timeouts, and we knew we didn't have to just throw it every down. But you know, those bubble screens are just run-pass options. If the box is too heavy, we'll throw the bubbles out there, and they just kept giving it to us. Our guys blocked it well. We had 1 block below the waist. I thought that was legal, but I guess it's not. And, you know, Malik was patient enough, and we threw and caught it well enough. Hey, great to see you, buddy. Thank you. Hey, you did a great job, Jim.
4th and 11. For the 2nd straight week, there's Darrell Langham making a play. How do you best describe what he's been able to do?
Well, it was lucky that we got the tip and it landed in his arms, but he really was getting doubled. We had a single coverage on the other side. I don't know why he's throwing in there other than he's been Mr. Clutch, so I can't blame him for that.
It's a great smile, Coach. Congratulations. Everybody having fun, Jonesy.
Coral Gables, stand up. Liberty City, stand up. Overtown, stand up. Carroll City, stand up. The Canes are back. Coming up on ABC at 8 o'clock Eastern Time, Utah taking on USC. For Rod, I'm Mark. So long, everybody.